It's supposed to feel.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the North Shore 9 Postgame Show. Doubleheader today. We are live after Game 1. Pirates take the win 4-2. Comeback victory. They were down pretty much this entire game. They pull ahead in the 7th inning. So I'm Jim. With me is Doug. Doug, how you doing today?
I'm excellent. It was a sort of an uneventful game in a lot of ways, but uneventful in a good way, right? Mitch Keller, we got a good start, a good outing from Mitch Keller and a good outing from David Bednar, and something we've been lacking for a little while. So nice win.
That is true. You mentioned kind of a non-eventful. It was definitely, it had its down moments. It was a pretty boring game for the most part. I will say this, like you touched on Mitch Keller. Mitch Keller, I thought the stuff looked really good today. Command was a little off, but he was able to fight through it with the stuff that he had. He goes 6 innings, gives up 2 runs. Just one of those are earned. 7 strikeouts, did walk 3 batters. That's where kind of that command came into play. But every time he seemingly got in trouble, he ended up making big pitches. He got some pretty big double play balls, throughout that start. Good bounce back start from Mitch Keller. Because he really needed one, and the team needed one from him too.
Yeah, we needed one. The fan base.
Yeah,
it's we were discussing him as our ace there for a while, and then that conversation has been muted for quite a while. And just right, he wasn't his sharpest. He wasn't as good as he looked in May, but solid. Like you said, he pitched out of some jams. Again, one of the runs was just Pirate fundamental baseball, and he overcame that. He looked pretty good. It's kind of what you want in the first game of doubleheader. Gave you 6 innings. I guess we would have preferred one more maybe, but a solid outing, something to build on, I suppose. And they got him just enough runs. And Perdomo got the win, but again, this is what we're looking for. For the rest of the season, for him just to go back to being like a really top of the rotation type starter.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I was kind of getting ready for the show, and it was right around the 6th inning, and I'm like, man, the Pirates have lost 7 straight games started by Mitch Keller, and it was 2-1 at that point. I think the offense had 2 hits. Things weren't looking great. I was like, we're gonna have to go on here and talk about an 8th straight loss that the Pirates have had in the Mitch Keller start, but that didn't happen, and it's all thanks to the young bucks, coming through in that 7th inning, and we'll get to that. But yeah, Jared Triolo coming up big for the Pirates. Actually, let's talk about it right now. Jared Triolo, the pinch hitting appearance in the 7th inning. Shelton pulling a bunch of strings in that inning. He had Peguero started off with a walk. Alfonso Rivas bunts him over to second base. I don't know how I particularly felt about a sacrifice bunt in that situation. Down 1 run with only 9 outs remaining, but Rivas executes the sacrifice bunt. Endy Rodriguez pinch hits for Alika Williams, who draws a walk, and then Jared Triolo pinch hits for Jason DeLay, and that move happened. And Doug, I was like, I think I'd rather have Jason DeLay hitting right now than Jared Triolo. I don't know. What were your thoughts then?
No, I like, I've said several times on our show that Triolo looks like a guy to me that can get that pinch hit single at any time. I was not, there was, by no means was I expecting a 3-run, just, laser down the line. But I just thought he'll dump one over the second baseman's head. And again, the chances of him doing that, aren't any better than DeLay necessarily. But I didn't mind the move. I believe Neil was at the game, And of course, in our group chat, I think you mentioned the Derek Shelton masterclass. If there's a player of the game today, it's not a player. It's Derek Shelton. But no, like I said, a couple young guys draw walks. You had to know that they're kind of wanting to swing, kind of wanting to make something happen. So, good on them and their patience. I'm with you. I've never been a real fan of the sacrifice bunt on we're a team that doesn't score much anyway. We can't really afford to give outs away. But when you've got a left hand, I don't know, Revis. I mean, expecting him to get a hit there is probably a little optimistic too. But I'd as soon let him just try to move the guy over with a hit or something. But what have you? And then Triolo. I mean, my goodness, he looks like a guy that should be able to do that frequently. That build but whatever,
right? And that's been the knock on Triolo, right? The knock on him is like this whole time. Yeah, he's getting base hits, but like he's only getting singles. He there's no pop in that bat. And today, 108.1 mile per hour laser in that left field corner. He crushed it. Line drive, 3-run homer.
It got out quick. Did that go out? Was it fair? Was it foul? It was just a blink of the eye. Oh, you're right though. It's right. I mean, he doesn't even hit doubles. I mean, it is little, bloops and drips and infield singles and whatnot. It's kind of painful to watch sometimes. But again, he couldn't ask for a better time to hit his first home run. So
yeah, I mean, 127 plate appearances going into today. Only 2 extra base hits, and those were both doubles. So, yeah, we have not been seeing this kind of power from Jared Triolo, but it came through. He came through today, and it was in a big, big spot because, as I said, the Pirates had 3 hits all game today. That was it.
Terrible, right? Williamson.
Luckily, though, one of those 3 hits was a 3-run homer after 2 walks. Again, by rookies, Peguero and Endy Rodriguez drawing those walks. So yeah, lots of stuff to like about from the young players today. Henry Davis drew a walk. We can get into Davis later on. He didn't have particularly a great game, but the young guys came through today. Alika Williams with an RBI hit earlier on in the game, and this was like right after he looked really bad in his first at bat. Alika Williams hasn't looked good at the plate, but came through again in a big spot. So gotta give credit to those young guys.
Yeah, you gotta tip your cap. You hope to see more of it. Like I said, a lot of these guys haven't looked that great yet, or maybe won't ever look that great. But they did a fine job today. It was a win. A win that I sort of felt like the team needed. I mean, we needed Keller to get a win after yesterday or Friday. I think we're 8-6 in the last 14, something like that. I mean, we're playing mediocre baseball, but that's a large step forward over the putridness of May, June, and July. So
absolutely,
let's keep it going. Let's keep battling, and hopefully, again, you want to see the charge led by Hayes and Reynolds and the young guys, and that's what it wasn't Hayes and Reynolds today, but the young guys scratched and clawed and came up with a couple runs.
Yeah, Hayes led off the game with a single, so that was one of the hits. Again, Alika Williams with the RBI single in the I think that was the 5th inning. He did that in. But yeah, he said not a whole lot happening offensively, but they made their swings count when they had them. So it was enough, and just excellent pitching, like we mentioned before. Keller, I do want to talk a little bit more about Mitch Keller. 91 pitches. He was real heavy on his hard stuff today. 65% of his pitches were 4-seam fastballs or sinkers. If you want to add in cutters to that as well, that 65% jumps up to 83% hard stuff from Mitch Keller today. 83% of his pitches averaging 90 miles an hour or more with those three pitches there. His sweeper, though, looked excellent. He didn't throw a ton of them. He threw 12 of them, but he got 3 swings and misses on at 60% whiff rate. The sweeper in particular, I felt like came up big against some lefties later on in the game when he started flashing it a bit more. But I thought his stuff looked great today, which was nice to see because he's been in a funk, and you could tell today like he was on today.
Yeah, he was aggressive in the zone, which to me it seems like he hasn't been, and maybe again because he doesn't trust his command right now. But yeah, he was aggressive. He was throwing hard. He was going right after people, and that's when he's his most effective. His whole career, his trouble has been when he's sort of unsure, lacking confidence, and lacking faith in his stuff, and he starts nibbling, and and then it's a walk, and it's a bloop, it's soft contact, and then boom, it's over.
Yeah.
So, he did that. Like I said, he got, I think, 2 double plays behind him. He some significant strikeouts. It was a real nice bounce back outing. It wasn't his best, but that's actually almost more encouraging. Like, he didn't have his best control today, but he still did a really good job. He gave up 2 runs, and again, one should not have happened if Brian Reynolds calls a guy off.
Yeah, I mean, and to go along with how you mentioned, kind of came up big, made some big pitches, double plays, attacking the zone. I felt like he was nibbling when he like didn't need to, but then when he needed to attack, he attacked. The Reds today went 2 for 15 with runners in scoring position, and a lot of that had to do with Keller attacking those guys when he needed to.
Okay.
Yep. Rest of the bullpen came in and did great. Angel Perdomo comes in. He walks 1 batter, but he pitches a scoreless inning. Colin Holderman comes in, pitches a scoreless inning. David Bednar shuts things down, scoreless inning. Luckily for Bednar, he didn't make it too interesting either. He actually kind of looked like his old self, right?
Yeah.
There was a triple there, but you could have. It was a right fielder aided.
Could have been a pop out, right?
Yeah, it was a right fielder aided triple there by Will Benson. But Bednar, I thought, looked really good today, and that's something you want to see. I don't think any of us were worried about Bednar necessarily, but it had been like a handful of outings where he hasn't looked like dominant. It was nice to see him kind of bounce back today. No, did we lose Doug? Did we lose Doug in that?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, here we go. You're back.
Yeah, I gotta get out of the state of Alabama. But
oh, he's frozen again.
Right.
He's a robot. We're gonna let Doug figure out some things, but yeah, just to kind of go along with Bednar, 12 pitches today, 9 strikes. He strikes out 2. Holderman, 2 strikeouts as well in his 1 inning of work. I will say this: so the doubleheader coming up, we got game 2 coming up. We got a comment here: Bednar mostly unavailable tonight, I would have to imagine. Majinski also on the IL with Holderman pitching today. The bullpen, yeah. Well, hopefully we get to see what it'll look like towards the back end of that second game. Bednar only threw 12 pitches, so I wouldn't roll Bednar like completely out of game 2, but probably the right move to keep him out.
He could pitch. I hope we don't need him to, right?
Yeah.
Let's just win 5-0 and not even have to get him up.
I think that's fair. Like I think he probably could go, but you don't necessarily want him to. But yeah, I mean that was pretty much it. Again, not a lot offensively. Pitching really dominated this game. Defensively, do we want to kind of go into that? Mitch Keller had a throwing error that got him into some trouble. It led to a run. Alika Williams, actually the throwing error didn't lead to a run. Alika Williams dropped a pop-up that eventually ended up being a run.
Yeah, that led to the run. And Connor just made things interesting in the 9th. But yeah, it's when you're a bad team and you're a low payroll team, you can't make these kind of mistakes, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, we lost Doug again. But to go along with what he was saying, it's hard to overcome these mistakes when you're a bad team. And luckily the Pirates were able to do so today. And it was thankfully just due to some timely hitting and some great pitching. Williams' error, that's the second time, at least in the last week, that I can remember where there was just some miscommunication between an infielder going back on a ball and an outfielder coming in on a ball. And, we saw it's now led to a run in both instances. So
right.
Hopefully they can get that under control. Because I feel like we've seen that way too many times this year where just balls drop in the middle of the triangle and no one gets it.
We have a lot of new guys playing together, and one day he's a second baseman, the next day he's a shortstop. It's different guys in the outfield, but some of this is basic fundamentals that, the center fielder's got to call the guy off. It's just quite simple. So we definitely need to tighten that up because, again, Keller pitched around and got out of it, but that has, caused some problems. And it's like a little too often at this point.
Yep, I agree. Anything else you want to touch on? I mean, we got game 2 coming up, so we'll be back with another post-game show later today. But like I said, not a whole lot happening in today's game. Game 3 of this series will be the rubber match. So it would be nice to take this series and end this homestand 4-3. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, it would be, especially given that, that we've faced in this homestand, we're all pretty good. So
yeah, would absolutely take a 4-3 homestand against the Braves and the Reds.
Right, right. And again, I know it's crying over spilled milk or what have you, but it could have been, it could have been a 5-2. Again, a lot to happen still today. But Andre Jackson's perfect, so I'm expecting 9 innings. So.
I'm excited to see Andre Jackson in a more important role than he's taken on. Obviously he kind of mop up duty the last couple times in, and yeah, I mean he's looked really, really good. So he will be going in game 2 tonight. It's at 6:05 Eastern. Andre Jackson versus Luke Weaver for the Reds. Are the Pirates going to win this series, Doug?
Absolutely. Andre Jackson going to look good, and maybe we bring in Hatch. We'll get 7 innings out of those guys, and
don't forget Baraki.
Oh well, the king, the king.
They do have a lot of arms available for the second game. You mentioned Jackson. Hatch should be available. Although Hatch did throw that 4-inning game on that Thursday, but I bet he's okay by now. Baraki's available for a few innings if needed. Beto is up here as well. And then Cody Bolton is the 27th man on this roster for the doubleheader. So they've got plenty of arms there for the second game. So if they really need to kind of piece it together, they've got the arms to do it.
Right. Nobody should have to overextend.
Yep.
And again, with Derek Shelton at the helm, pulling the strings like he did in the first game, I like our chances.
Yep. I agree. Luke Weaver has not been very good this year, so hopefully the bats can wake up a little bit. Only 3 hits this first game. Let's multiply that by 5.
Yeah, let's get some double-digit hits.
Yeah. Let's knock these Reds around a little bit.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, let's not have to worry about bringing up warming up Bednar. Let's just put a 7 spot on them. Call it a night.
I agree. All right. Well, we'll be back here later on tonight for that post-game show. Again, Pirates win 4-2 in game 1. Angel Perdomo gets the win. David Bednar, his 24th save of the year. That'll do it for us today. We will catch you here in a few hours for game 2. See you all.
See you guys.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.